Hello everyone, nubkeks here, welcome back to Nub Raids, and today we're putting on the tinfoil hat once again. We are going down to Prediction Town. I want to talk about not just the awakening system and blessings and all this cool stuff we're seeing behind us, but I want to talk about what I think is coming, what I think is next in Raid, and also I think what is not next in Raid for a good while. Over the next few months, basically, if I was the game director, if I was a game designer over in Plarium, this is what I would be looking to do with the game. So yeah, without any further ado, let's dive into it. First up, let's talk about this. My thoughts about the release date for Awakening, Blessings, this new Iron Twins Fortress. When do I think all of this is coming to the game? I think when you look at this in the background, I think what this is very clearly not, a piece of concept artwork. You look at all of these systems they showed in this What's Next video. This is extremely polished stuff. It looks incredibly well done. Just from that technical standpoint, this could be something that was literally added to the game yesterday and you would believe it. You'd think, wow, that looks amazing. I think this stuff looks pretty much ready to go from everything that I can see. And for me, when I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about advertising the game and running ad campaigns, getting new players in, Death Knight popping up at an appropriate time here in the background, completely unplanned. That actually was worked out well with my background footage here. Think about this. Raid Shadow Legends ad campaign. Return. Come, check out Raid Shadow Legends with the new Awakening system. Power up your champions, customize them with these new blessings, and realize potential you've never seen before. Speaking of potential, Ultimate Death Knight. A new legendary version of Death Knight will be available for a limited time only to everyone playing the game. And you'll need his power because a new head of the Hydra is looming in the distance. What's more, with our new referral system, refer your friends to earn new champions, new skins, shards, and more. Play Raid Shadow Legends today. Bum, bum, bum. Like, the advertising campaign, it just writes itself, doesn't it? It writes itself. I think we know that Ultimate Death Knight is coming soon. They've been really teasing it and building it up. This stuff, again, looks ready to go. I think it just makes so much sense to do this together and to do a big push and to do it soon. My prediction is the first week of September. That is my prediction. They've been doing their major patches the first week of each month for a little while now, for the last few months. I think that's going to continue. I think this stuff is coming to the game the first week of September. Ultimate Death Knight is maybe going to be out the week before. Or again, maybe around the same time this comes out, there'll probably be a new fusion on at the same time. Probably a very good fusion. So I think this is coming soon. It could come later, but I think it just makes too much sense to bring all this stuff together. They've just had the referral system come out as well. I think it just makes sense that this is, bam, that big patch. And it gives a big chunk of content right now in September. Then October can be a little more chill, and then you're really looking at, the end of November and big time December. That's where you got to have another big push as well, right? The Christmas season, holiday season, that's when you got another big advertising push. So that is what I think about that. So if we come over here, I think this. Awakening Ultimate Death Knight, I think the start of September. Hot on the heels. I think it has to be pretty hot on the heels. Has surely got to be then the Hydra update, right? If we look at Hydra, they released this when Hydra first came out, so obviously this is all subject to change, of course, but we've had phase 1 and phase 2 of Hydra, but there is this phase 3 of Hydra, which is going to feature allegedly a new Hydra head and a new difficulty level with improved rewards. On top of that, in Ash's interview with Cirilla, she said that there's no new champion coming as the reward for Hydra. Nothing to replace Mithrala from a champion perspective, but there's going to be some reward that you are going to find super valuable, right? Something really, really valuable. And to me, that makes a ton of sense. When you look at we look at the awakening system. That's not the thing I want to click into. The awakening system, you're summoning in these soul stones to summon in souls. It just makes sense. Again, we've got the Demon Lord clan boss, which gives you shards for summoning champions. I think it makes just so much sense for the Hydra clan boss to come in and quite possibly to start dropping these soul stones, or else dropping the currencies with which you procure those soul stones. I think that just makes sense. That would be a massive motivation to do the Hydra. You're going to want to have perfect souls to power up those champions, get them fully awakened. That's going to be a massive power spike. Huge motivation to do the Hydra. I do expect as well that it's probably going to be very bottom-ended. That much like with the Demon Lord clan boss, your rewards for easy, normal, hard are pretty terrible. Brutal's okay, but really it's Nightmare and big time Ultra Nightmare, which is good. I'm expecting when they add that Ultra Nightmare difficulty in with the new Hydra head, it's going to be the same thing, that really Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare are really good. Brutal will be okay, and then hard and normal are not going to be that good. It's going to be a big push to get further. And I think that it's probably not that far away either, I think with Awakening, it's going to have the novelty factor, but then you're going to go, well, what are my Awakening champions for? It's going to be such a power boost for taking down Doom Tower, Faction Wars, Hydra as it is right now, Clan Boss. It's really going to help us start to crush a lot of the content that was all in the game right now that was difficult. I think we could have the Hydra update arguably as early as October. I think it could be October. It could also be November. I'm going to put in October or November. I think is when we see that. So new difficulty of Hydra with the new Hydra head and incorporating soul stones in as the reward. I think the safest bet is probably November. Give us 2 months of Awakening, 2 months of trying out that new dungeon, and then be like, bam. Now this is why you want to go hard, Hydra thing. And hey, all the deals are starting to come in for Christmas, all that Christmas spending. Bet you want to start buying some stuff here in Raid as well. I think the Hydra update's very likely. Now, looking further ahead then, we obviously have PvP, and we know that that is postponed. So I think that's looking more like January, maybe even February, Jan/Feb. I do think we need something in December to really tide us over. I think that's going to be important too. A big question mark is what that's going to be and what the next big steps are going to be for the game. I do think that there is definitely a potential for gear Ascension to come into the game, but that for me has really been pushed back now quite a way. It was something I was thinking that they could very well do, that you could ascend your gear, so that would be a big grind added into the game. It would really, in a lot of ways, it really push you to regrind a lot of gear as well, quite possibly. And that ascending your gear might enhance the set bonuses. They might lean into that. But I don't think that that's very likely anymore, because if you look at Awakening, with these blessings, if I can find where the blessings are in the preview here, the blessings are actually giving you a lot of stats which really do mirror these stats really do mirror gear sets, and these effects are quite similar to gear sets. So I really think that gear Ascension, that's maybe probably something cool like Titan Forging. I think that's a long way away. I'd say that's like end of 2022, 2023, or even 2024. I do think it's something they'll put into the game. I think that's another level of grind, but I think that's now miles in the future. I don't think that's something that's coming in the short term. I think Awakening is really filling that grind spot for a long, long time. We do know that there's going to be an update to Doom Tower. They've talked about maybe tweaking up the rewards in Doom Tower. It's not out of the realms of possibility that we could see a new Doom Tower rotation, a fourth rotation. I think that's something that people would really enjoy. Again, I feel like that's probably a bit further in the future. I do think in December we might see some mild updates to the existing PvP system. I think that's not unlikely. So, let's say current PvP update. I think Cirillo is indicating that would be Tag Arena. I do think that could be a big feature in December. Big update to Tag Arena, making Tag Arena a more enticing game mode. And again, especially with Awakening coming into it, I think that could be a pretty big content drop for December. I think that's fairly likely. And then we might see some new forms of PvP in January, February. What new forms would I like to see that PvP take? Well, for me, the things I would really like to see, I know that for a lot of people, real time is what they want to see. Real-time arena, and I think that could be cool. For me, though, well, that would be a lot of fun, and I think it's fairly likely. I would love to see more incorporations of factions, right? You could have, for example, Tolarians only tournament. So tournaments actually happening in-game instead of right now, where arena is just, you've got the top whatever players, and it resets every week. And it's, let's be real, kind of a whale fest to get into platinum. Not kind of, it is a whale fest to get into platinum. I really think a big update is going to focus on more tournament brackets, having everyone be able to compete and take part. And I'd love to see themed tournaments, either weekly or monthly. I think themed tournaments focusing on, like, you must only use a specific faction. Or I think what could be really cool might be like High Elves versus Dark Elves. Pick your side. Pick your side, and then you have to fight for the High Elves against Dark Elf players for, like, whatever, let's say a week-long tournament in your bracket, whatever bracket you happen to be in, and you'll get some cool rewards, like maybe like some cosmetic stuff, champion fragments, skin fragments, something like that. I think that could be pretty fun. So I would love to see that. I'd love to see themed faction tournaments. Just tournaments, and I think tournaments is really the way to do it because it's PvP, you know. Tournaments involving every play level, right? Forgetting about this platinum, the top 500 thing, stuff for let everyone be involved. So I think that's a really big PvP update, and they've said that's going to be pushed back. I do think, and I've talked about this in a video last week, I think they target December, April, and August for their major sort of releases. I'm expecting the December stuff to be fairly pushed back and be pushed back into kind of the start of next year, I think is what we're going to see. The big question is, would this be enough? Would an update to Tag Arena be enough in December? I'm not sure. And then something I think that we also will see coming, I think fairly soon as well, is when you look at the index now, like a lot of factions which before were very sparse are starting to get a little bit more filled out. Like we've seen some skinwalkers coming in, all the rest, you know, the factions are looking a bit more fleshed out. I mean, the Shadowkin are very fleshed out at this point. A new faction, I think, is something that makes a ton of sense to come on the horizon. That could be an extremely exciting thing to drop in December. I think that makes a lot of sense as well. However, I think more likely, I think new faction, I think in February is going to be my bet. So a couple of months after the Christmas hype and stuff has faded out, you know, and stuff has calmed down again. We're properly into the new year. I think that's when they hit us with the new faction. And I think that would very likely, again, coincide with that PvP update, following pretty closely on from it. That to me does seem quite likely. New faction. I think, again, I did a whole video on this before. I think like a sort of a Fae faction, a sort of like woodland spirit faction would be really cool, with stuff like, you know, treants, tree men, fairies, centaurs, wood elves, that sort of stuff. I think a nature themed faction would make a whole lot of sense. Like we've got skinwalkers and lizards, even ogre and orcs to an extent, which sort of represent some of that nature, but that's more sort of a bit more monstrous. I think a more beautiful faction, something coming in would be quite interesting, with like really beautiful creatures, like beautiful stags and you know, fairy, elven magic and nature and woo, all that sort of fun stuff. I think that's fairly likely, and I would not be shocked either if we would see somewhere around then again an update to this blessing. So I might be blocking this slightly, but we've got light, dark, war, chaos. We got a lot of pretty evil, like dark, war, and chaos. You know, these are pretty dark things. Light is the only good one. I expect we have a locked symbol down here. I expect life to be the next one. So I would kind of be expecting that new faction, and I would say, and life blessings in February. New faction, let's just call it Wood Elves for simplicity. Wood Elves and life blessings here, I think coming in February, something like that, would be pretty damn awesome. Because Because yeah, I think that a new faction is there's definitely space for it in the game now. There's definitely space for them to start looking for a new faction. They did February for Shadowkin before, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards that for the new faction this time around. That's when they did the new one. Potentially as well, this could coincide with, you know, we could see Phase 4 for Hydra, maybe somewhere in December, but you could also see Phase 5. I think this is quite far away, but it might be cool. This Phase 5 might be where you see, you know, a new champion coming in. That could tie into a new faction. It could be kind of fun if there's a new champion eventually in the final phase alongside a new faction. But I think that, again, I think that final phase of Hydra is also far away. Final phase of Hydra, I think, would be fairly late 2023, to be brutally honest here. So that's essentially what I'm thinking. I really do think Awakening and Ultimate Death Knight are coming really soon. Probably September. I think then a Hydra update November. This could possibly be December either. And I expect an update to Tag Arena coming pretty soon as well. Possibly they will do Hydra in December and PvP in November. I think it could go either way, actually. I think it could go either way. Now I'm thinking about it even more. November, December for this, and November, December for this. I think these are the sort of the two bits of major content are going to come at the end. Like, this is such a major content drop, the Awakening system. I think December is going to be a bit more sparse compared to like Doom Tower release or Hydra release, which were major new bits of content. I think seeing Awakening now, I think these will be a little bit more small, focused on smaller, just updating current stuff, but in a significant way. And then I think, again, big new stuff, probably a couple of months into the year with a new faction, I think. Reasonably close alongside that. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. But that's what it looks like to me. And then for the middle of next year, I really have no idea. Like a year from now, I really have no idea. Probably that final phase of Hydra coming in somewhere around then. And then Gear Ascension, something to potentially see in the future. I think other potentials, you've got Mythic Champions. I think could be pretty interesting. I think that's definitely something that's on the cards as well. Yeah, we could also, oh, by the way, around here too, I should also say we could have, you could have dungeon updates here as well, sometime in here. You might have like dungeon stages in maybe October. I think Cirilla said that as well, that it's going to be new dungeon stages. Maybe we'll start giving you a chance for Mythic gear. That could be cool. And yeah, just generally I'll very quickly mention some other sorts of things I'd like to see. Mythic Champions I'd like to see. I would love to see some sort of affix system where, let's say, you jump in and it's like, the Chaos Storm is in the Spider's Den today. And there'd be some affixes, like some crazy effects affecting Spider's Den, but it would drop some insanely good rewards. Again, maybe that Mythic gear. Yeah, maybe some new level of gear, something like that. That'd be cool. Like gear with maybe, like we have in the game right now, you've got a whole bunch of things like accessories that give you these cool effects. It'd be cool to get accessory style effects. Maybe on just regular pieces of gear. That could be pretty insane. Dropping from like an affix-based system that would change week to week and wouldn't always be up. So let's say like Chaos Storms, Chaos Storms. I think that could be pretty cool. You know, just there's one random part of the game every few days perhaps, or maybe every couple of weeks, that has a Chaos Storm in it. And let's say it's like whenever you kill an enemy, they explode, doing max HP damage to your team. Or all the enemies start with Stone Scanner. You know, just crazy stuff like that. Really crazy affixes that make it way harder and you have to completely change up your team. I think that could be really cool. Again, I think that's a major piece of content. I think that if they brought out something like that, which I think they should, I think that'd be very, very far away. But yeah, there you go. Let me know, what are your predictions? Do you think that this looks fairly reasonable? Do you think that, let me see, this stuff here, do you think that looks like a fairly reasonable layout? If you were Plarium, would this make sense to you? If you were a shareholder, does this make sense to you? If you were a developer, would you be going like, yeah, this is stuff we could maybe do? Or are you going like, that's way too much? Why are you crazy? Let me know what you think. I hope that you enjoyed the video, guys. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.